Okay, so I'm going to attempt to show you how to draw a nose. A nose is a little bit of a strange item to draw because a lot of it's done with shading. So here's my handout that I gave you. So we are going to be drawing a nose. I just have to find the right page. So when you are drawing a nose, you always want to look at what's happening on the bottom with the nostrils. Okay, so if you look, sometimes it's a very squished figure 8. Sometimes there's like a little bit of a triangle thing. Sometimes this will come down. And the one that I don't have on here, sometimes you won't even see the nostrils. You'll just see something like this, where the nose is over the nostrils, so you can't see it underneath at all. So on your sheet of paper, you are just going to practice, and when you're practicing, I should probably have grabbed another handout. We are going to be using this page. So I'm just going to tear this one off. Okay, so as we are drawing, let's say if I'm going to pick this nose right here, what ends up happening is I start off with the middle, and then I come up over here, draw the nostrils how I see them. Okay, so do you see how it's kind of like a figure 8, or this one actually looks like a bird flying. Okay, so there is that line. Now, do you notice how I have my left hand moving with my right hand? The easiest way for me to draw is when I'm side by side, straight. I don't have it crooked like this because that's way too hard for your brain. And then when I have my left hand following me like this, every time I look back and forth to my sketch or my photo, I can easily line up. So now I come down right here, and then I will do that half circle, okay? So when you're looking at this, you draw the nostrils, how you see it or how you don't see it. So if you look at this one, do you notice how you can't see it? I would draw this right here. Then after that, I would start shading, okay? So now when you're looking at this, you will draw the curved areas. Bottom should be very close to the nostrils. Sometimes when students draw, I will quickly make this. So if I have this, they'll go like this, and all of a sudden they'll go whoop. Do you notice how this is curving in too far? When you are drawing these half circles on the side, you have to open them up as you're going up, okay? So you do not want to cave back in too tight because they all just kind of open up. And when it says close to the nostrils, that's dealing with this space right here, this space right here, this space right here, here, and here. And this one, you don't really even have a space either with this one. So after you do that, you got the nostrils, you will figure out what type of tip you have. Some people have a diamond shape or a hexagon or a circle, okay? So you have to look to see what that person has or you have. So if I look right here, I have a shape like this, okay? It's kind of like a home plate, okay? This one is a little bit more of a ball, okay? This one has a little tiny tip like that. It's kind of like a rounded rectangle. This one is like a crescent moon shape, kind of. This one is a ball. So you figure out which one you have, okay? So now right here, I kind of draw my home plate on top of the nose, and this is Brad Pitt, okay? So now after I figure that out, do you notice how I draw it very lightly? So I kind of figure out the shape of it. You are going to go in and add a little shading. And when you are shading, and we'll get to this when we get to the final, I'm just going in, and what happens is usually it's a fancy U shape. So as I'm shading, I'm gonna go up. Again, notice how my left hand is always following when where I'm going, okay? And then I'll fade out very lightly. Now, the bridge of the nose is way too much, okay? But I will gradually keep on building it up, okay? So that's how I'm going in. So when it says a fancy U shape, right here, shadows under the eyebrows alongside the nose and under the nose, do you see how it's a fancy U shape, okay? There is no lines on these noses, okay? Sometimes I have students try to, go like this, and all of a sudden they're trying to make lines. There's no lines, okay? You have to do everything with shading, okay? So when you're shading all these, however, when you start doing a profile view, like George Washington, that's when you have a line, or the Mona Lisa, that's where you have a line. But if the person's looking straight at you, you do not have a line, okay? So now I just keep on going, and I'll just keep on shading. When I'm shading, I'm using my number 2 pencil. I was very tempted to use a shading pencil, but you don't have a shading pencil. So now I have to make sure I show everything with the number 2 pencil. Do you notice how I'm holding it like a 30 degrees? I'm not going straight down because it's too sharp of a point, so I'm kind of angling it a little bit more. And when I angle it, what happens is my pencil tip is getting flatter. I am not trying to use the point. So now with this, I kind of shade, and I just keep on going. Go in with the nostrils. And I might bring his tip of his nose down a little bit more, but it's not bad. Because I haven't drawn noses for a whole year now, so give me a break. Okay, so that's kind of how you have it. Now, with shading, you guys, I'm a fast shader when I'm sketching things out like this. And if you notice, I have lines everywhere. What I can do is I can use my eraser and I can soften them, okay? So now I'm just going to go in and finish up the shading. Notice how I left no shading on the nose. The nose is the top of the hill. It's not going to have any values to it whatsoever. If you put a value on top of the nose, you're going to push the nose down into your face and it will not look three-dimensional. So now I'm going to go in and start pushing my shadows. Okay, so you will have shadows underneath the nose. So if you look right here, I have this shadow happening. So I'm trying to get that happening right here. Now I'm going to create this right here, come down, shade a little bit more. So the right side on Brad Pitt is a little bit darker. So I just keep on going in. And then I'll push this a little bit more, push this a little bit more. And then I'm going to bring this down a little bit more, I think. That's what I was talking about earlier. Okay. So now I have all these lines. What I end up doing with my shading, I really like my eraser. Test out your eraser before you do this. Do you notice how my eraser leaves no pink marks? Okay, so after that, I will lightly dance like a ballerina or a floating butterfly, and I will soften the edges. Okay, and then I will soften the edges. I'm not grinding it, I'm not going like this. I'm lightly just rubbing over it. I'm barely touching my paper. It's all about hand pressure. Okay, so now there's my one nose. I'm gonna check my video. I can't even see it because it's so far above me. And I'm roughly at 9 minutes. Okay, so that means you have another 9 minutes to shade your other nose. And so you can pick any of these. So you're gonna draw 2 of these. Draw 2 noses, okay? And then you are going to shade them, okay? So off to work we go. Thanks.